Welcome to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex, and this is a collaboration with ECOFLOW. So on my channel, I spend a good chunk of it looking at electrical projects and doing collaborations with companies to fund the other half of the channel. The other half of the channel has me taking this van, which is my home, up to the Nordic Arctic for the last 2 winters. And having fun. And I'm a bit cold and exhausted. From spectacular sunsets and northern lights to getting hit by a storm and walking to the Russian border. Almost back. And that's what my channel became popular for. But those trips were expensive, so I work with companies to help fund that. ECOFLOW, who are well known for making their power stations, were the first sponsor the channel ever had, and I've worked with them a number of times in the past. From the original River Pro, which I turned into an electric paddleboard, got drunk, dressed as a pirate and harassed people, to, for some reason, reenacting Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. I came in like a wrecking ball! Later on, they came out with their River 2, which is actually one of my favourite power stations, and one of their smallest. I use it generally day to day in the van, and it's appeared quite a few times on my videos. It's often my drone charging station. After I've glued my drone chargers to the top of the lid, means I don't have to have my chargers flying around all over in the van. And then last winter, whilst I was out on the Arctic trip, they sent me the River 2 Pro, which has been another great power station I've been using. Whilst on that trip, I used it to charge the laptop so I don't see impact on my main system, and it became a nice foot warmer. I also decided to cook with it in the snow and use it as a chopping board. Don't recommend that necessarily. And some other silly things. And then later on this year, because it's a bit of an electrical channel, I was sent the ECOFLOW air conditioner, the Wave 2, and I did a lot of electrical tests, how ECOFLOW's air conditioning system performs, and is it useful for other people. But part of that also involved the Delta 2. And that's what this video is about, the ECOFLOW Delta 2. ECOFLOW have asked me to make a quick video telling you they've got their Black Friday sale, and you can check all the links in the description for that. However, I don't generally like to review units I've not had for a long time and be able to test. So this video is going to be more of a walkthrough of the unit and some of its features, and all of those and plenty more information can be found on the links in the description to the main website. But I prefer not to do reviews for units I've not tested for long term. So onto the specs, let's have a look at it. The ECOFLOW Delta 2 is a bit larger than most of the power stations I usually keep in the van, and that's a good reason that. It's larger than the next line down, which is the River series. So this is 1024 watt hours. The Delta 2 does use LiPo4 cells, which means you can expect the long life, up to 3,000 life cycles, probably around 10 years for everyday use. Luckily, ECOFLOW has kept the simple design. Being a bit of a larger unit, it does have 2 carry handles and keeps a nice flat top, so it's easily stackable and storable. And if you're running multiple of these batteries, you can put them nicely on a crate. Unlike the previous River series, which are very much standalone units, the Delta series, which has a few larger variations as well, is more building an ecosystem and expandable, that you can put some of their other Delta extra batteries on it using the X battery port. Or that I showed, you can also run the Wave 2 air conditioner off it with the XT150 cable. Where do I use it? I actually leave this one at my parents' house. I find it quite a useful power station for them to use because I built them a solar shed with 2 of the 400 watt ECOFLOW solar panels, so they can charge it during the day and run whatever they want off it in the evening. Speaking of charging though, it has its solar controller, which can charge up to 600 watts or anywhere between 11 and 60 volt at 15 amp, total of a maximum output of 600 watts in solar, and a normal DC charging all by an XT60 connector. But what power stations like this really set themselves apart is the charging ability. So as normal, it's got its AC fast charging, and you go from 0 to 80% in 50 minutes and 0 to 100% in about 80 minutes. Now that we've covered charging, let's get on to discharging. So as normal, you've got a 12 volt DC socket out, rated to 10 amps. Your standard variety of USB-A and USB-C on the front of the unit, including USB-C up to 100 watts. It means you can charge things like laptops. But the main important feature, or how I often use power stations like this, is their AC output, or the inverter. This one has a maximum of 1800 watt out, and with its Xboost, which allows you to run some simpler, dumber electronics up to a slightly higher output, up to about 2400 watt. Right, as a bit of an example, that's one heat gun there. I'm going to turn that on, that's going to be about 600 watts. Inverter can run that no issue. However, if I turned my second 2000 watt heat gun on, then it would overload the inverter and it would shut down. 600 watts, 2000 watts, overloads the inverter. Right, let's turn Xboost mode on. Xboost mode turned on in settings, let's put that heat gun back on. 600 watts, 2000 watts, and keeps it at just around 1800, so it doesn't overload the inverter. Whilst it may not be the most realistic example, it shows that it's helpful for running some dumb electronics like a heat gun just outside the normal operating amounts. More sensitive electronics won't work. Much like other EcoFlow power stations, you also got the app as well. And in the app you can log on via Bluetooth or via Wi-Fi remotely. As long as the unit's connected to Wi-Fi and you have internet access, you can log into the unit, see what's going on, solar going in and out, grid going in and out, discharge. You can also have a few different home screens, and you can also update the software. And since this bigger unit works like this, could be used for more of an ecosystem or maybe an off-grid domestic option, you can program features to come on and off, such as the inverters, charging, solar charging at different times, DC charging at different times. That can all be put on timers and a few other features as well. So, thoughts? In the 1 kilowatt category of power stations, it's a great option. High spec unit, the usual quality you expect from EcoFlow power stations, fits a lot of use cases. My use case in the van, I prefer the smaller units because I've already got a substantial electrical system. For someone who's making a weekend van, someone who wants a power station for camping trips away, it's a great option. Enough to last a while, charge your phones, charge your different bits of kit, also cook on electric on it. It will run an air fryer or an induction stove, no problem at all. And with the battery system in the port, the rest of the Delta line can be used as a bit of an integrated system. I've shown it with the Wave 2 air conditioner unit on it, but you can have other expansion batteries or other things like generators on some of the bigger units. Overall, good unit from EcoFlow. EcoFlow have an upcoming Black Friday sale, so check out the link in the description for details on that and save yourself some money on some EcoFlow units. Well, for me, power stations, collaborations with brands, especially ones I've had long-term partnerships, is how I fund the channel and how I fund the silly adventures and the free content I make for you guys. Using my affiliate link helps my channel out and funds the silly adventures I go on. So if you want to see some of those silly adventures, feel free to subscribe to the channel, check out some of the Arctic playlists, or check out some of the other power station videos where I do silly adventures and projects with them. Well, thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.